the Browns for a quarter of a century has gone quiet. We welcome you down here to the sideline at Huntington Bank Field. John Dawes alongside the top dog, Hanford Dixon, Browns senior media broadcaster Nathan Zagura, and Jim Donovan, after a lengthy and courageous battle with cancer, has passed away. And, there's no easy way to discuss this, guys. And I look up at the sky, and there's not a cloud in the sky, and yet, Hanford, it just feels dim this morning.
Well, I think everyone, I know each of us on the set, we have a heavy heart this morning because Jim was a friend, he was a colleague, and I remember when I first came to the Browns, but I didn't know about it, Nathan, until this morning, and I'm sure you knew about it before then. But it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I mean, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it and talking about it right now.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of the last few days crying, and obviously I feel so lucky that I got the time not only to be Jim's partner in the booth, but also to become Jim's friend. And, getting to work with him was the absolute, thrill of a lifetime, but just getting to be with him. And in retrospect, obviously at the time we knew it was special. We didn't know how special it was, but when we went to the Greenbrier this year, myself, Jason Gibbs, our producer on the University Hospitals Cleveland Browns Radio Network, and Jim, we all shared a cottage at the Greenbrier. So I got to live with him basically for 9 days, which was such an absolute treat. And, this is just all he ever wanted to do. And when we were at the Greenbrier, he would come out, and I'd come out of my room, and he'd be in the common living room that we had there, just calling games in his mind. Came out one time, and Obo Okoronkwo just had a huge third down sack, and he was all fired up that the Browns would get off the field. And it's so hard. He is an icon. He is a legend. He is part of the fabric of this community, and I mean by that the Cleveland Browns community worldwide, the Cleveland, just the city, the community here. It's so sad. His amazing wife Cheryl, his daughter Megan, and they have gone through this for so long, and it just on Friday I got an opportunity to go see Jim, and I got an opportunity to say goodbye to Jim, and it was hard, and it was emotional, and it was powerful, and I tried to share messages on behalf of everybody that I've worked with, on behalf of everybody in this community who all love Jim Donovan. And I think that any of us should be so lucky to not only have known him, but to be Jim. Think about it. As a kid, he would go to the Boston Garden, and he would bring a tape recorder with him, and he would go to Bruins games and Celtics games, and he would record play-by-play as a young kid, and he would send those tapes to the play-by-play voices of the Bruins and the Celtics, who would give him feedback. And he brought it to Bobby Orr's camp. There's a great article on The Athletic by Zach Jackson and Jason Lloyd about Jim, and he went to Bobby Orr's camp, I think as a 12-year-old, and said, "Hey, Bobby, why don't you take a listen to some of these tapes?" And I was like, "Yeah, you're good at this. You maybe should do it." And you think about Olympics, the NFL, Major League Baseball, obviously the voice of the Browns. He's done World Cups. He's done it all, and he is universally beloved. Everybody has nothing but good things to say about Jim Donovan. And so, I had my buddies in town last week who I fired up Gladiator, and Maximus says a line that is, what we do in life echoes in eternity. And you think about the fact that Jim Donovan's voice will, in fact, echo in eternity for Cleveland Browns fans. It's just so powerful, and I miss him already. Like I said, I've spent a lot of times the last few days just kind of laughing, crying, back and forth between the two emotions. But, I can remember it would have been right here, like 15 feet from where we are, when he came back against Pittsburgh last year, smashed the guitar, comes back to the booth. The Browns win that game, and it was so emotional. And then the other one, I'm wearing kind of the same outfit, other than obviously I'm wearing my Jim shirt tonight. But I took a picture with him 5 feet away, right here in the corner of this end zone, before the Jets playoff game, when the Browns clinched and went back to the playoffs, and just his joy for that. And everybody who would sit in that section below the booth and look up at him, and the signs they had for when he returned. Just, he's a legend. I miss him already. I love him. I love Megan, love Cheryl, and I think, they've been so blessed to have the support of everybody. The outpouring on social media. Jim Donovan is as great as he was as a broadcaster, a better guy, and he absolutely will be missed, but he will never be forgotten.
You know, for 2 decades, and I speak of Joe Thomas in this way, for 2 decades there wasn't a ton to cheer for in this franchise and for this city. And that almost made Jim Donovan more of a beloved figure, more of a legend, because he was the guy you rooted for and you rooted with. And that was a difficult time in this franchise's history, and it will be remembered the last 25 years for Jim Donovan.
Because he had that infectious passion, and you could feel it. It was a genuine passion for him calling the games. The gestures, I mean, I'm sure we've had some of them go out there where there's a big run. He is literally hopping up and down in the booth calling those big runs, as you see right there. That's it. The Browns are going back to the playoffs. I mean, and I go back to it, and I've always said, and this might even be the call right here, where Jim Donovan, you know, in COVID, I was down in the front row of the sidelines, because back then you were on the sideline report. You weren't even actually allowed to be on the sideline. You were in the front row of basically an empty stadium. And when we clinched, Baker ran that like kind of quarterback sweep. I think they called it Maserati or Lambo. It was a car name anyway. And he kneels down, and Jim starts going the call after 18 long years. You know, it's all becoming very real now. And he said, the only thing missing is all of you. And I remember that put tears in my eyes at the time, and I looked around, and grown men are crying about what this city, what this team means to the city in this region. And obviously Jim is the voice of that, and that passion and that energy. And then the saddest part about today is the only thing missing is Jim, you know. And again, we love him, and it's just so everywhere I go, and had even from the time that he announced that he was not going to be able to do this season and that he had to step away. Everywhere I go, grocery store, how's Jim? How's Jim? How's Jim? How's Jim? And unfortunately now we know he doesn't have to fight anymore, but we know that unfortunately he will not be with us again. And like I said, we love him, and that's just a powerful reach. It really is. The orbit of Jim Donovan is so big and so beloved.
And I'll say this really quick. I think I told both of you guys when I heard it, the first thing I did, I fell on my knees and I said a prayer for his wife and his daughter. But I'll say this: he's in a better place right now.
Jim Donovan gone clearly will never be forgotten within this franchise. Cleveland Browns mourning the loss this morning of Browns legend Jim Donovan.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Fawcett Stadium in Canton, Ohio, and the 1999 Hall of Fame game. The wait is over. Browns football is back underway. That's it! The Browns are going to the playoffs. The postseason is back in Cleveland.
45-40, run, William, run! 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown!
There goes Chubb. He's to the 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Shabba-lubba hub! And they're going to the playoffs. And the only thing that's missing, all of you.